So, shot creators are all around the NBA, but one that many people don't talk about is Donovan Mitchell. Sure, Donovan Mitchell hasn't won a ring, been to the conference finals, or been an MVP, but when you're looking at the game from a pure skill standpoint, D-Mitch is arguably the best shooting guard in the league. As a two guard, your primary role is to put the ball in the basket in various ways, but with Mitchell, it's not only that he can score in bunches, it's that he has another layer to his game that benefits everyone around him. That layer I'm referring to is his ability to create any look he wants on the floor, which leads to not only buckets for himself, but the team as a whole. Defenders will first be fighting for their life on Mitchell Island as he'll be saucing them up to get buckets, and then in the next moment, he's zipping passes to his teammates that you never seen coming. He's not really known for his passing, so some of these things go under the radar, but hey, it's understandable, because when we witness plays where Mitchell carves up the defense to go throw down an emphatic slam, it really gets your eyes glued to the screen, and when he snatches back making the defender hit the cha-cha slide, we all know he finna let the three fly. Now, as exciting as his game is, we also do have to look at the stats, and when we pull them up, it may look underwhelming as he did have a down year in the 2024 season compared to the year prior, but when you factor in that Mitchell only played 55 games and was dealing with a lingering injury, it kinda adds some context as to why the numbers aren't at his usual. But regardless of the injury, Mitchell still found a way to dissect the defense, even though he was missing some of his normal explosiveness that helps him create on the floor. Now, although he couldn't move on the court like his normal self, if these opportunities for him to split the defense opened up, he would shoot through in a quick second, and to show off some of those creative juices, Mitchell uses his high underhand floater to get the bucket. Splitting the defense like this comes in many ways, such as him using the behind the back right here, and now with both backline defenders focused on Mitchell, you can see Mobley is spacing out on the three going to the corner, and bada bing, it's money team. Opposing defenses have to be aware of the space they allow when guarding these pick and rolls, because a gap like this is way too wide to be left open, and now Mitchell might be charged with elderly abuse by snapping Joe's ankles before feeding his big the Euro to go finish. This honestly isn't the most complex move, but it's highly effective because if defenders get too high when guarding Mitchell off the screen, well, you can clearly see the angle Mitchell can attack now that Tyrese is almost even with him, so with a quick split, Mitchell is now pushing downhill and the layup is fairly easy. This ability to squeeze and shoot through gaps in the defense is tremendous as it can lead to slams like this. But let's say the defense closes the gap up to where Donovan can't place the dribble through. Well, here's where these high carries come into play, and now it's just him in the rim. Since Mitchell has a 6'10 wingspan, it allows him to carry the ball high over defenders, making them flinch back as they don't want to get hit in the face, and now they're left watching the ball fall through the basket. Personally, I believe there's always a risk when using a high carry because guys could get their hands in there at any moment, but when you're able to keep control regardless of the contact, this is where the and ones tend to be completed. Having different ways to avoid the defense like this puts you at an advantage a lot of the time because defenders will truly think they have you stopped with the wall they built, but when construction isn't finished and they leave a gap on the outside, Mitchell can now carry it right over Michael's head to go finish. And hey, always remember, the key point of Donovan's game is to create any look he wants, so when he evades the defense like this but doesn't have the route to the basket, he's no longer looking to create a shot for himself, as he instead is creating a wide open look for a Sam Merrill three-pointer. So as you can see, splitting the defense is something Mitchell can do in his sleep, but it's truly just the introduction to his game because when he starts to shift directions out of nowhere, it leaves the defense pretty much helpless. Take a look right here. When coming off this screen, Mitchell baits Tillman by using the hang hezzy. So once Tillman gets out wide making that contact, this allows D-Mitch to float that contact into a spin move, into the bucket he goes. These change of directions can be purely off instinct as you do tend to react off what the defender does. But if you watch Donovan on this break, you can see that he notices Trey Jones sliding over along with Vassell right in front of him. So by attacking the middle briefly, it makes Vassell start to close in towards the middle, and this is perfect for Mitchell as this is all a setup so he can push back to the outside, and now the defense is one step behind. This right here is something that forces the defense to play honest, because if they do assume he's going to go one way and try to beat him to the spot, well, you could end up like Scotty Barnes reaching for a teaching, and look what opens up, a corner three-pointer for straight cash. I know earlier we touched on his injury and him not being able to explode out the moves like normal, but when you see Mitchell be able to catch, plant, and shift directions before his defender can even turn his hips, it shows you that his agility is on another level than most, and then he tops it off with a clean Euro to grab the and one. All of these moves we're seeing wouldn't even be capable if his agility wasn't on point, as in basketball, some of the most important things is footwork and your positioning on the floor. When you can get low on crossovers to really sell the drive, it's going to force your defender to lean that way slightly, so now you have a great angle towards the rim to attack. And with Mitchell being smaller, he's able to speed to the paint much quicker than Franz, to then tie in that amazing footwork to step around Wendell for the bucket. When you start to pay attention, you'll notice these things a lot, as Donovan first comes up the floor chest high into the sky, to then get low like Flow Rider to open up this gap after the in and out, and now to the rack he goes. Do whatever you want, but don't start cheating plays, or else now you'll end up out of position, and then the deadly navigation skills on the court will lead to a floater for 2 points. This level of creation right here is truly absurd, as it makes Mitchell one of the most unpredictable scorers, and trust and believe it doesn't just stop with his ability to attack the rack. Sure, you'll have these times where D-Mitch makes a nice move to spin off his defender to then complete the bucket, but say the defense has help coming after the spin, well here's where chaining that spin into a step back is now showcased. From the mid-range, Donovan Mitchell shot 46% on 171 attempts in the 2024 season, and this right here is an area that provides another option for him to go to when the defense is scheming against the drive. Perfect example, when Mitchell comes off the screen, we can all see that Brook Lopez is in deep drop coverage. So answer this question, what is the smart thing that Donovan Mitchell should do? If you guess stop and pop before Brook steps up, then you would be right. That driving of his just puts the defense in such a bind simply because it causes them to collapse, which opens up passing lanes for D-Mitch to find his teammates, or it can lead to him getting all the way to the basket for an and one. So that's why you'll see the opposing defense have 3 guys in his way getting to the rim when he starts pushing downhill, but by being 2 steps ahead and not 1 behind, Mitchell rises up over the top for the butterball. Say whatever you want, but his quick decision making skills are elite, because when we talked about those spins earlier, Mitchell would use them to get into the paint to score, or it led to a step back when the help came over, but other times it takes knowing where guys are on the floor, as here on this attack, Mitchell not only notices the defense about to cut him off, but also with him knowing that the help is coming over, he flows right into a jumper rather than chaining in a step back. So do you kinda see what I mean? There's many different options present when you feed these moves, but you have to be able to pick the right one in a split second. Like on this fast break, Mitchell obviously sees the left side of the floor is wide open, so that's why he spins off that way, but this time the help comes over immediately to stop the pursuit, which then allows Mitchell to wrap this around the defender's body for a Jared Allen rim grazer. Things like this is what keeps the defense on their toes at all times. You'll be so sure in your mind that he's gonna go score the ball once he has the angle, but once he sees the help shift down leaving a man open on the wing, he can swing it out in a swiftness, and then here comes these other times where you get up high as a defender to stop the screen from being effective, but he quickly switches the game plan by feeding a spin move, and now he's knocking down a 3-pointer. Last season, Mitchell knocked down 36% of his non-threes per game, so if you were scared of his drive and kept backpedaling, well you for sure were allowing points to go on the board, and if you thought it was a great idea to go under the screen, well you definitely thought wrong. He's truly fearless, and it's in all aspects of his game. There's not an area on the floor that he can't score the ball from, and there's also not a pass that he can't pull off at any given moment. I personally believe the injury kept him out of talks as being the best 2-guard last season, simply because the numbers were down and he was out a lot of games, but when you sit down and analyze Donovan Mitchell, you can see that he performs at a high level and gets deep in his bag like he's digging for the fries at the bottom. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.